My son's girlfriend asked to borrow my wedding dress. The alterations she made without permission revealed her true character. I, 56F, have always considered myself a reasonable person. I've raised 2 wonderful children, been married for 33 years, and have always tried to welcome new people into our family with open arms. But sometimes those arms get slapped away in the most unexpected ways. My son has been dating his girlfriend for about 2 years now. They met in graduate school, and from the beginning, she seemed lovely, intelligent, ambitious, and she made my son happier than I'd seen him in years. I was thrilled when they announced their engagement 6 months ago. Last month, during a family dinner, she mentioned that she was having trouble finding the perfect wedding dress within her budget. I remembered my own wedding dress, carefully preserved in the attic for decades. It was a beautiful A-line gown with delicate lace detailing and a modest train. Nothing overly extravagant but elegant in its simplicity. I'd be honored if you'd like to try on my wedding dress, I offered. Many brides these days are wearing vintage, and it might save you some money. Her eyes lit up. Really? That would be amazing. Could I see it? After dinner, I brought down the preservation box and carefully opened it. The dress had yellowed slightly with age, but was otherwise in excellent condition. She ran her fingers over the lace reverently. "This is beautiful," she whispered. "May I try it on?" It fit her surprisingly well, needing only minor adjustments for her slightly taller frame. She twirled in front of the mirror, and I felt tears welling up. My son looked on proudly from the doorway. "You can borrow it for the wedding if you'd like," I said impulsively. "It would make me so happy to see it worn again." She hugged me tightly. "Thank you so much. This means everything to me." We agreed that she would take it to her seamstress for minor alterations, just a slight hem adjustment and taking in the waist a bit. She promised to be careful with it and return it to me after the wedding, preserved just as I had kept it. 3 weeks passed, and I received a text with a photo. Sneak peek of the alterations. What do you think? I nearly dropped my phone. The dress in the photo was barely recognizable. The modest neckline had been cut into a deep V, the sleeves completely removed. The skirt had been shortened dramatically and layers of tulle added underneath to create a modern ball gown effect. Crystals and sequins had been sewn all over the bodice. My hands shook as I called my son. He didn't pick up. I texted back, trying to remain calm. "There seems to be some misunderstanding. I said minor alterations were fine, but this is a completely different dress." Her response came quickly. "I know it's different, but the dress was so outdated. My seamstress said we could modernize it without losing its charm. Don't worry, it looks amazing now. Everyone at the wedding will love it." I sat in stunned silence. The dress that had been my mother's final gift to me before she passed away, the dress I had hoped might someday be worn by my daughter or daughter-in-law, had been transformed into something unrecognizable without my permission. When I finally spoke to my son, he seemed caught in the middle. "She's really excited about the changes, Mom. She thought you'd be happy that she loved the dress enough to make it her own." "Make it her own?" I repeated. "It wasn't hers to make her own. It was a loan, not a gift to redesign." "Well, technically you did say she could alter it," he replied defensively. "For fit, not for style," I countered. "There's a world of difference." The next day, she called me directly. "I sense you're upset," she began, her voice carrying an edge of impatience. "But honestly, the dress was outdated and boring. I did you a favor by modernizing it. Plus, I've spent over $1,000 on these alterations already." I took a deep breath. "I appreciate that you were excited about the dress, but you should have discussed major changes with me first. That dress held sentimental value beyond its appearance." "Well, it's done now," she replied flippantly. "And I'm not changing it back. That would ruin it completely." After hanging up, I sat down and wrote a long email to both of them. I explained calmly but firmly that the dress had been my mother's final gift to me before she died of cancer. That I had hoped to preserve it as a family heirloom. That alterations traditionally meant adjustments for fit, not complete redesigns. And that her dismissal of my feelings about a precious family item had revealed something troubling about her character. My son called me immediately after reading the email. "Mom, I had no idea the dress was from Grandma. She never told me that part." A week of tense discussions followed. My husband thought I was overreacting. My daughter sided with me completely. My son seemed torn between loyalties. The situation came to a head when my future daughter-in-law's mother called me. "My daughter told me what happened," she said. "And I want you to know, I'm mortified on her behalf. She should never have altered your dress so drastically without explicit permission." I was surprised by the support. "Thank you for understanding. If it helps," she continued, "this isn't the first time she's done something like this. She has a pattern of reinterpreting boundaries to suit herself. We've tried to address it over the years. Something clicked into place. The time she borrowed my vintage earrings for a weekend and returned them weeks later. The way she rearranged our living room furniture during a visit when I was out shopping. The unsolicited advice about how we should renovate our kitchen. 2 days ago, she arrived at our house with a large box. My son waited in the car, engine running. I've been thinking about what happened, she said stiffly. And while I still believe the dress looks better now, I understand why you're upset. I've bought you this replacement vintage dress from the same era. It's actually worth more than yours was. She thrust the box into my hands and turned to leave. Wait, I said. You still don't understand. It wasn't about the monetary value. It was about respecting boundaries and sentimental attachments. She shrugged. I've apologized and offered a replacement. I don't know what else you want from me. After she left, I opened the box. Inside was indeed a beautiful vintage dress, pristine and likely expensive. But it wasn't my dress. It wasn't the one my mother had helped me pick out while knowing she wouldn't live to see me wear it. Yesterday, I called my son and asked to meet him alone for coffee. In the neutral setting of a cafe, I explained my concerns clearly. Not just about the dress, but about the pattern it represented. I'm not asking you to cancel the wedding or even to take my side completely, I told him. But I am asking you to think carefully about what this incident reveals. Marriage is built on mutual respect, clear communication, and honoring each other's boundaries. If those foundations aren't solid now, they won't magically appear after you say, I do. He was quiet for a long time. I love her, he finally said. But I've noticed some of these things too. I just didn't want to see the pattern. We left things there. The wedding is still on for now, though he mentioned they might postpone to work through some things. As for the dress, I've decided to let it go. Not the memory or the lesson, but the physical garment. She can wear it at her wedding if they proceed. It's just fabric and thread now, transformed beyond recognition. Much like my perception of the woman my son plans to marry. Some might say I'm being dramatic over a dress. But I believe how people treat the small things reveals how they'll treat the big things. And someone who can dismiss sentimentality, ignore boundaries, and refuse to truly understand the impact of their actions is showing exactly who they are. I just hope my son sees it too, before those altered patterns become permanent.